Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.
The issue of non-partisanship lies in the fact that it requires that any member of INEC must be impartial, not only impartial in action, but impartial in principle and impartial by the estimation of the society. So, Madam Onochie is not an impartial person. She's a fundamental APC person. Not just that she's a major supporter of Mr. President, she's a member of APC, and she is known to be very sympathetic to the cause of a political party. So our nomination goes against the provisions of the law. And it is the same law that brought Mr. President to power. It is that same law that Mr. President is latching in on to do the nomination. It is that same law that provides that such a person must be impartial, must be non-partisan, must be of unquestionable character. Because not only that the electoral umpire must be seen as being impartial, but must be manifestly seen as being impartial. When you appoint such a person who is obviously a fundamentalist partisan person, you have obviously undermined the transparency of the electoral process. And that is not the way to go, because that is not what brought government to power. The need for transparency has made Nigeria to amend Section 160 of the Constitution, which requires that INEC as an organization should not be controlled by the president. Apart from other councils and commissions established by law under the third schedule of Constitution, INEC is the only one that was singled out that it does not require approval by Mr. President to carry out its functions and duties. And it also requires that INEC should be independent in its actions and in its functions. Now, the same Constitution provides that Mr. President should appoint, or rather nominate, members of INEC, that is the chairman, the national commissioner, or resident electoral commissioner, with confirmation from the Senate after due consultation with the Council of State. The requirement of consulting the Council of State before such nomination is made is with a view to ensuring that the person to be nominated is not only a person of unquestionable character, but a person that is non-partisan and that will be impartial. These are the basic provisions of our law. And anything short of that is a breach, is a fundamental breach of that provision. And it is obvious that nomination of Madam Onochie goes counter to the provisions of the Constitution, and that is why it is raising all this hullabaloo.
All right. Nzako, we'll come to you in a moment. Tochukwu is here with us in the studio. Tochukwu, if somebody who has been in partisan politics, for instance, not holding or vying for election per se, but has demonstrated sentiment for a particular politician who is in power, does that necessarily nullify the person's credibility?
All right. Thank you very much, Utibe. Good morning, Nigerians. The Constitution is supreme. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, swore to defend this Constitution, every provision of this Constitution. Until the matter of Loretta Onochie came up, I did not know that there was an issue in the Constitution in two separate provisions made a point on. Ordinarily, the Constitution makes a provision for a particular thing and goes ahead to make a provision for another thing. But on the issue of who should be appointed as chairman and members of INEC, the Constitution, in two separate provisions, stipulated that one, in section 156(1)(c), says the person shall not be a member of a political party. Now, If a person is not a member of a political party and has integrity, the person can be appointed. But where you have integrity, but you are a member of a political party, because you're supposed to be an unbiased umpire, the Constitution says, sorry, you cannot be appointed. Again, in paragraph 14.2a, the Constitution now says...
That's of the schedule?
Yes, of the third schedule, sorry. Paragraph 14.2a of the third schedule. The Constitution now provides that the person who shall be non-partisan, still going to... It now means, even if Lorita Onochie says, I'm not a member of APC, I'm not a member of a political party, the Constitution says, but you have shown manifest partisanship. Now, this is the photo of Lorita Onochie campaigning for the president for his second term. There has been an earlier photo where he was shown wearing a gown, bearing the face of the president. You will also see photos online of Lorita Onochie wearing the APC ceremonial uniform.
That's it right there.
Yes, that is the face of the president. Exactly. Now, can you now say that Lorita Onochie, who until today, no Nigerian has heard that she has resigned her appointment even, or she has been sacked as a personal assistant to the president on social media matters. She is a defender of the president on social media. It's her duty. Nigeria pays her. Taxpayers' money is used to pay Lorita Onochie to defend the president blindly. Lorita has never said one thing from 2015 till date that is wrong that the president did. So she cannot be an unbiased umpire. She's already biased in favor of the president, in favor of the president's political party. So to that extent, Lorita Onochie cannot be a fit and proper person to occupy the position of a national commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, shifting away from the sins of the president, which he committed October last year, 8 months ago, it is still shocking that the Senate, despite the rule abalo by Nigerians, could still forward her name to the Senate committee. I was thinking that the Senate president should have just ordinarily, by a vote of the General House, the General Senate, just rejected the name and sent it back. But if they say that this is fair hearing that they want to give her by sending it to the committee, Nigerians will be waiting and Nigerians will be watching. Again, you now ask yourself, President Muhammadu Buhari attempted to be president of Nigeria in 2003, in 2007, in 2011, before he won in 2015. And for the previous 3 times he contested for the presidency of Nigeria, he challenged that election to the Supreme Court. Now, particularly let us pick 2011, which was his last election before he became president. And why I want to pick that again is that the chairman of INEC that conducted the 2011 election was the chairman of INEC that conducted the 2015 election, Professor Jigawa. When he lost, I remember vividly 28 December, that's my wedding anniversary, so that's why the day sticks to my head. When President lost that day that the Supreme Court gave judgment that Jonathan was the winner of the election, President Muhammadu Buhari, then General Muhammadu Buhari, took INEC, and particularly Professor Jigawa to the cleaners. He said Professor Jigawa was one that was appointed and they said he had competence and credibility. But following the election he conducted in 2011, he had proved neither. So he took INEC as an institution and its chairman to the cleaners, and he rubbished them and told them they were what nothing. Now, he cried about elections in this country. He lamented, he challenged them to the Supreme Court. Why people are saying, oh yes, he was pushed, but every Nigerian, and indeed every citizen of this world, was expecting that if at any point President Muhammadu Buhari had the opportunity to take decisions or actions, carry out actions to affect Nigeria's election directly, he would have done it so that nobody will cry the way he cried. But from 2015, May 29, that he took oath of office to defend our constitution, there is not one item the president has done to improve our electoral fortunes. Not one. I challenge any Nigerian to count one. The only one anybody may count is the appointment of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Fine gentleman who people can say has the integrity, just like Jigawa was touted to have had integrity at that time. So let us give that to him. But apart from that appointment, there is not one, absolutely not one, for 6 years, more than 6 years. Now, he has not done one. So when you look at that and you see that the president took over from a seemingly very bad President Goodluck Jonathan, who left very big, Nigerians may not have known, or indeed do not still know, that before Jonathan left office in 2015, he signed amendments in 2014 that actually led to his losing election. It meant that the man was more interested in a credible process than in the victory from the process. Jonathan's changed the electronic register, changed our electoral register to a biometric register. If Jonathan did not sign it, just like President Muhammad Buhari refused to sign certain things in 2019, it wouldn't have happened. The introduction of the PVC that we celebrate, that gives our elections seeming credibility. Jonathan. Do you know that Jonathan signed that on the election day while he was sitting as president, he signed an amendment that deployment of the military particularly should not be under his control but under the control of the INEC chairman. Jonathan signed it. Jonathan signed, made appointments of credible people. It was public news that as at the date he announced the appointment of Atahiru Jega, he had never met him. Jega talks too much, very well. If Jega had ever met Jonathan, since he left office, he would have mentioned it that Jonathan lied by saying that he had never, we met 3 times before that appointment. All right. But all those things. Now, the question is, those were Jonathan's electoral legacies. What are President Muhammadu Buhari's legacies? Having tried 3 times before he won on the 4th attempt, and having said that electoral process. So what is it that not one executive bill, not one proposed amendment, nothing, absolutely nothing. Rather, the good people that were in the commission before he came, whose tenures are being edged out, instead of even to sustain that by replacing them with credible people, President Buhari is replacing them with people of questionable and partisan.
Now, his legacy may be known or seen by the time the National Assembly passes the electoral.
Are you not aware that there is no executive proposal from the president? Why are you trying to give him credit where there is none?
No, I'm only saying that.
You are a media person. You should know that by today.
I'm saying that there is
no proposal from the president before the National Assembly.
And I'm saying that the electoral bill that is being worked on at the moment, that by the time he gets to the president, you know, so now we should be shifting the blame back to the National Assembly. Who are still holding on to the electoral bill.
See, this is a man who cried that this process is not good. For Providence now bestowed it on him. Nigerians and indeed citizens of the world should have taken it for granted that once President Muhammadu Buhari is made president, our electoral fortunes will change. Elections in Nigeria will be free and fair. But rather, the situation is almost trying to get worse.
But the National Assembly has to send the act to him first, the bill to him before he signs it to the act.
You are missing my point.
I'm not missing your point. I'm only saying that.
What were those things the president cried about that he has now sent to the National Assembly and said, in this amendment you're trying to do now, please, these things must be there. All right. Those things that made me cry. If I were president, if you were president who was sensitive to your own experiences, you would have said, when I was president, something like this happened to me. You will personally send those amendments and make sure that you call your party to ensure that those things are carried. But he's not doing anything.
Probably the president would have just wished to, because there was, like you said, somebody who was interested in electoral reforms, had made the positions clear and created the legislation possible for him to win election in 2015. Having won election based on the reforms that were made by a president he succeeded. He probably feels that there's nothing he can still ride on that and continue, which he did in 2019, whether rightly or wrongly, that's another issue for conversation. But let's bring in Zako into the conversation now. The issue is before the Senate, and this is one place that a lot of Nigerians over the past few years have lost a whole lot of confidence on. Do you see the president interrogating the issue of, partisanship of Loretta Onochie very objectively to ensure that some of these things that we are talking about here are mainstream and take a decision that reflects the minds and the thinking of many Nigerians?
Nigerians expect, and Nigerians are looking forward to a National Assembly, especially a Senate that will throw away this nomination and ask Mr. President to replace Madam Loretta Onochie. That is because the Senate, from experience, the National Assembly had come up with electoral law, electoral act, or bill, so to speak, that the president refused to accept towards 2019 election. And we saw the results. We saw the impact in the whole electoral process. It gave INEC a lot of stress to manage its credibility and to manage the expectations of the people. Just like my brother said in the studio, that since 2015, the current president has not done anything to enhance the process of electoral credibility. And don't forget that one of the major reasons why Nigerians voted for President Muhammad Buhari is the touted transparency and integrity that he showed Nigerians, and all the promises made towards ensuring that things are done better than they were done before his ascendancy.
Fred, sorry to interject. Fred, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Let me just get your response straight because we don't have much time. This Senate, this 9th Senate, do you have faith in this Senate to do an objective screening of Loretta Onochie?
I do not have faith in the Senate president because he has said that if he had opportunity to campaign for President Muhammad Buhari for a third term, that he would do that when he was seeking power as the Senate president. And I have confidence in the Senate, but I have no confidence in the Senate president. And Nigerians expect him to take up this challenge and ensure that he respects the rule of the will of the people than the partisan interest of his party and of Mr. President, by ensuring that the thing is done rightly. There are many opportunities for Mr. President to patronize Madam Onochie if he feels so strongly about her capacity. She can send her to any other organization, make her a minister, make her MD of Nigerian Post Authority, make her anything apart from INEC.
All right.
Because keeping her in INEC will go against the law.
All right, Tochukwu, you're parting short because despite the hue and cry over this nomination, the names have already been sent to the Senate Committee on INEC for screening. So what should they be looking at invariably?
I'll start by saying that it's very unfortunate that it is in the week of Democracy Day celebration that the president, that these issues have come up again. It is in the week of Democracy Day celebration that the president said he is working towards APC winning elections and staying in power for a long time, and now nominating somebody who is manifestly a member and a supporter of the APC. And it is in the same week of Democracy Day celebration that former presidents of this country and heads of state, who ordinarily should have been members of Council of State and who should have been consulted before this nomination was sent to the National Assembly, had been meeting to make peace in the country, and also had met with the president, that this nomination issue is coming up, showing that our democracy is specifically being targeted during the week of Democracy Day celebration. And I want to believe that the only thing the Senate Committee on INEC owes Nigerians is to at least say that this night's Senate is no longer a Senate of Hallelujah boys that it has always been referred to, and as a rubber stamp Senate, and do the right thing. Don't, even if you cannot do it for Nigerians, do it for the oath you took to defend and protect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And on that basis, there is no way you will look at this thing that is manifestly unconstitutional and sustain it beyond one sitting. So that is what Nigerians expect and nothing less. But if they do otherwise, like most Nigerians are believing that they will do, because they have already declared that whatever it is, however unconstitutional, however unlawful, that comes from the president, they will approve.